Welcome to Tour Talk. I am Mike Dudas, and I have been really looking forward to this special edition as we celebrate and talk about this year's UIL Young Filmmakers Festival and Ball High's entry into the festival. And to bring us up to date and tell us kind of the beginning story, I'm going to throw it down to Huck Lanier. Good evening, Huck.
Hi.
All right, Huck. So as we kind of start to paint the picture of what it took to put this project together and where we're at today, go around and introduce everybody.
Okay, my name is Huck Lanier. I was the writer and director of the UIL film. To underneath me is Sabrina Mukita, the producer of the UIL film. Right there, I hope I'm pointing it right, is Malu Patana. He was
You're
our
not. I don't think
director
I
of
don't mind.
photography.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me stop you and say, Sabrina, raise your hand just in case he's pointing
oh,
out. All right, there's Sabrina. And then you introduce Malu. Malu, raise your hand, wave. All right, there's Malu. Okay, go ahead.
and our two actors, Caleb Partapillo, who plays the brother, and Samuel Allen Bell, who plays the boy. So
The boy. All right,
no.
so Caleb and Samuel were the actors, and Sabrina, Huck, and Malu were part of the all important production team, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so to bring everyone up to speed on what exactly the UIL Young Filmmakers Festival is, um, area high schools, filmmakers, media department, they have the opportunity to enter a short film into the film festival for competition. So what makes this so unique is this is totally student centered and student driven, meaning the students have to come up with the idea, the students write the script, the students produce and direct and just do everything possible, and teachers, they stand out of their way. Our role is just to provide the leadership and guidance to make sure it gets done. So if they need anything, need a special equipment, need special advice, we're here to help. But all the work and the burden, no pun intended, because you'll find out the name of the movie film was burden, but that falls all upon the students. Um, so what I think what makes this year's production film so unique, and this is like the fourth or fifth since I've been in a Ball High entry into the contest, and we made history this year because we breezed through the first round and we came oh so close advancing on the second round because I saw the scores and we were really close. I mean, really close. So, but it was really neat to make it out of the first round because there was hundreds of entries and there was I think at least about 800 entries. So the first round more or less kind of cuts that in half. So we did very well, and then we came oh so close in the second round. But I was just proud that we made it past the first round because that was victory in itself. Because we just needed to do that for the program and just show everyone it can be done. So I think we all learned in the process. We all know the three stages of production are pre-production, production, and post-production. So pre-production is basically the planning aspect. Production is basically the filming, and the post-production is the editing. So I want to bring in Malu right now. So Malu is kind of the mastermind, the videographer. We really depended on him. The team depended on him production wise to get everything done. And Malu has been with the program for 3 years, and so he has seen two other teams work together. And then with this team, Malu, what do you think sets this team apart from the other teams you've seen in the past?
This team was excuse me. This team was really easy to. They all worked together really well. Um, we didn't really have any drama to begin with, which was really nice. Um, Everybody's already friends with each other, which is really cool. Everybody already knew each other really well. Everybody already knew each other's strengths and weaknesses really well. So it was really easy to rely on one another. And a film is only as good as its post production. So the days that we actually did shoot were super smooth. Everything went well. I think the day that we were shooting, we only forgot one shot, which we came back and did the next day. So It was super, super easy and fun to film. And the post-production was super smooth. Everything got done really quick. Everything got done on time. I believe this year was the earliest that we filmed. We actually filmed the earliest this year out of all the years. Normally we're hitting the deadline pretty much, where we're finishing editing on the day that I remember last year that happened. We ended up finishing editing the day that the film was due to be submitted. So this year that didn't happen. We had a big buffer in terms of how much time we had to actually edit the film.
And I remember coming back from the winter break, and because I'm just used to this in the past, and Mala knows very well that there's always big plans during the Christmas break, or during the Christmas break. Oh, we're gonna film all of our scenes and get all this done, and then guess what happens? We return and everyone's schedule's different. No one could get together or whatever. So I was kind of scared to ask that question when we came back. So when we came back from the Christmas break, I think I asked Huck, I go, so where do we stand? And he was kind of like, we're already done. And I was kind of like, what? I was just not used to hearing that. I mean, they were done. I was like, wow. So that really made me feel good. I mean, I've had good feelings about this from the very beginning, because this team worked during the summer before even the school year started on the script and storyboard. So they were organized and had a plan from the very beginning. And things just kind of flowed along through the fall and through the holidays, and had everything done well before the deadline. And I know you guys were watching the finished product over and over again, rescrubbing it, just to make sure the day that we submitted it, it was as perfect as possible. So Malu, on the production side, whenever you go out and actually film the project, I guess needless to say, planning is the most important aspect, correct?
Yes, definitely.
So as a production person, when there's poor planning, or the team's kind of running by the seat of their pants, how does it make a production guy feel?
So when I work on big sets, if so normally the producer and the first assistant director, which we didn't have on this film. So the first assistant director's plan on a bigger film set, the first assistant director's job on a bigger film set is to make sure we get all the shots that we need to for that day, right? Because on big sets you have 12 hours. A normal day is 12 hours. Anything over that, you have to pay your crew overtime, and nobody wants to do that. Well, the crew wants to get paid overtime, but nobody else wants to pay them overtime. So the first assistant director's job is to be the bad guy and yell at everybody to hurry up. But on this set, when we were shooting, everything went super smooth because we had really good pre-production, excuse me. And Sabrina did a really good job as a producer. She was kind of an assistant director as well, definitely making sure that we got all the shots we needed, and that everything went smoothly, and that all the little things were taken care of. So Huck could focus on directing, and I could focus on making the shot look as gorgeous as I possibly could.
In other words, a good storyboard and shot list is very important to the production people, because you know exactly what to expect, where to go, what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if Malu sounds like, wow, he really kind of sounds like he knows what he's talking about, sounds like a professional. Malu he's in partnership with his own production company, and goes out and films professional commercials, music videos, and that type of thing. Correct, Malu?
Yes.
So he has that's his teenage part-time job, or almost full-time job.
Full-time. But yeah, at this point it's getting close to full-time. It's more work, and it's I go on film sets more than I do to school, which isn't good, but
yeah. When we need him to do school stuff, he has to squeeze us in his busy work schedule.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the planning. Huck and Sabrina, how did you come up with the idea? And just kind of walk us through that, which I guess basically started last summer, correct?
Yeah.
I'd say it started a little before that. Whenever we first met, that's when we both started talking about, he showed me a script that he wrote a long time ago, and that was one of the first conversations we really had. And that's when we both realized, or I realized, that we would be really good partners in this, because I'm the type of person that has an idea and I will finish it from beginning to end. And he had the ideas. And so I was very willing to support Huck in everything he did. And that's one of the main, and then throughout the summer during the pandemic, we watched movies and we would, became closer as friends. And establishing that led to a partnership that led to making a production. And that was kind of the pre-planning but I don't know how he came up with the idea for the script. He can go with that.
Yeah. The idea first started like a little bit after I met Sabrina. Well, I was at my grandma's apartment and I was just taking a walk and I was listening to music, and there's this band I know called Tool. And and I was listening to one of their songs. It's a really long song. It's like 15 minutes long, but the entire song builds and builds and builds, and it's just the theme is kind of different from my idea, but like I loved how as I was taking the walk, I was walking around where we shot the film, and I was walking around and and while the sound was like the music was going and building, I kind of like was picturing like an idea, maybe some entity is chasing someone. And that's what the music felt like. And so slowly I started to develop this idea. I ran it by Sabrina a lot of times. There were a lot of like late nights where I would just talk and talk and talk and then she would give me input of what I could do. And then I started getting on the script, which I wrote over the summer. And then we decided, let's do this for the UIL film. So that's what we did.
Then basically day one, when school started, you already had a script and a storyboard all together, and you were ready to hit the ground running, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
During the judging process of this year's film festival, I was lucky enough to be a judge 3 different times. So the first time I judged were films just like ours, but of course in another division. I could, judge films in our own division. And so I saw several different themes that schools were doing. Number one, they were either doing kind of dark themes, kind of like ours, that it kind of has the protagonist, in peril, that type of thing. Then I saw a lot of other things where it was like about the pandemic, that type of thing. I saw some gay and lesbian type issues or whatever, which were done very respectfully and that type of thing. And so I saw some common themes throughout the whole process, and saw a lot of novice work, which was, good try or whatever, but not quite there. Then I saw some very good productions too. And then in my last 2 judging opportunities were documentaries. And so those were all really interesting. And I think, and I know you all, because they're all out there in the public now on YouTube or Vimeo. So you've seen other schools, what they've done. And I know that's kind of sparked our interest next year. Hey, let's do another film, but let's do a documentary too. So I think we have a good idea for a documentary, but we're not going to reveal it because we don't want anyone to steal our idea. Correct? I think we're going to have an award-winning idea. It's going to be really cool. Then who knows what's going to come up with the film theme. So I know we're sadly going to lose Sabrina because you're a senior, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And but the rest of the production team, Malu and Huck and whoever else, I guess you recruit for next year. Huck, have you already been thinking about a script for next year?
I definitely have. And it's definitely in the process. I definitely want to get more people's input on it, But yeah, I'm definitely thinking of that.
Through the whole pre-production process, what was the hardest part? Just getting all this done.
I would say the storyboard for pre-production. That was the thing that took the longest to do. The script was kind of easy because I wrote it just getting down my ideas and stuff. But the storyboard was getting my ideas. I did it on paper and I'm not the best artist. So for my first storyboard, I tried to do it kind of perfect, but then I realized as time went on, it was whatever. It's all in my head. I just had to get it down on paper. So I think that was the hardest part at first because it was just getting your ideas down to a specific order that can be ready to shoot.
And then you have a stickler for details like Malu, and I've heard him say this over and over again, not so much this year, but past year, where's my shot list? Where's my shot list? I can't do this without a shot list. So I guess how cool is it to work with a professional like that, a student who's a student that kind of keeps you on track with that aspect?
Definitely cool. I didn't going into this, I did no clue how the production was supposed to work, and Molly was a huge help in that fact.
Yeah, I do everything really traditionally, which is really time consuming. But when you do it that way, you make sure you cover all your bases. That because I've worked on, I've seen productions, and I've been on productions where things weren't done traditionally, and then everything doesn't go smoothly, and it ends up a mess. So those are no fun.
And I think everyone's learned from the past. It's best to try and get all the filming done, if possible, in one day. Correct, Malu?
If it's under, yeah, for a short film, anything like less than 15 minutes, 1 or 2 days. I think for us it was 2.
Yeah,
no, yeah, it was 2 days.
Especially for a 7-minute film, right? There's no excuse to have to do it 3 or 4 days, right?
No, not at all.
Because I think
That's
it's
just 12-hour work
just
day.
one scene that you had to go back and redo, or something you didn't like, or whatever.
Yeah, we did most of our filming in December, and then we did a lot of the rough editing also in December. And after we reviewed all the rough edits and we kept editing, we were finally like, we're missing like some parts of this film that could be better, or could make it better. So we went back in July and we shot, I think, like 7 more shots. Yeah.
You said
July.
Yeah, you said July.
January, I would like to go back. Can we edit that out? I meant January. So in July, we actually went back and we shot about 7 more shots. And we just really made the film, flow a lot easier.
So when you went back and reshot, how did you get around continuity issues?
There were a few continuity issues during filming. Sam had a mustache.
I remember that.
Full mustache, very manly mustache, and he shaved it in January. And also Caleb had a haircut. So to get around those, all the shots, we avoided their face, and they were very quick. So the shots that were long and focused on faces we kept, and we tried to edit to make it smoother. But the shots we had to redo, we were able to use Malu's guidance and work around the faces and stuff.
We also had a really big lighting change between the first day that we shot between the first few days of production versus the days that were quite a while later. There was a huge lighting change. I think the days that we originally shot, it was super sunny out, and then the days that we didn't plan on shooting but we ended up having to shoot were like foggy, or it wasn't foggy, but it was really cloudy out. And when you have that really cloudy lighting, and when you can't see the sun in the sky, it gives everything a global illumination, and so there's no shadows on anything. And so it's very obvious when in one shot the tree is casting a shadow, and then in another shot it's not.
And believe me, in later rounds of judging for these film festivals, that's where things get really picky, and that's where judges look for continuity issues. So if they see it sunny one day and say the scene, or it's in the same scene, but they change, the camera pans on a different character, and all of a sudden it's darkness behind that person, or obviously the weather's different. Those are continuity issues. And we've had that in films in the past where I remember one time, this was like 3 or 4 films ago, they went back and shot something, but the first day, it obviously where they were at had rained, and when they went back and kind of pieced together some scenes within a scene, it was like dry. So that was a continuity issue. So that didn't look well. And then I remember another one. They started the scene out, and it was like a twilight. It was still kind of sunny, and all of a sudden it became dark because they took too long to film the scene. So darkness took over, and that they couldn't sneak that through. I mean, they tried to sneak it through, and of course the judges commented on that. And then I remember too, and this is something really picky too. I remember, I think this is the first one we did. No, the second one we did. Someone in a scene brought someone some keys, or it was either keys or a phone. It was something like that. So they brought it to the guy, and then when he got up and left, it was like it was important for him to have that. But when he got up and left, he left it on the counter. And so, of course, it's like, if it was that important, why did you leave it on the counter? So, the actor, not thinking, just left it behind. And of course, you could see it in the background on camera. And of course, the judges caught that too. So continuity issues, that's always the big thing. I mean, but the biggest thing is planning in the pre-production process. If you have poor planning, everything else is going to fall apart. Right, Malu? It's just disaster. You won't have a happy production team when it comes down to filming day. Something that should take half a day to do, your production people aren't going to be very happy having to come back again and again and again because everything is so disorganized. So, but a tribute to you guys on the production side and the production team, keeping things organized and just kind of seem like relatively painless. So, all right, let's bring in the actors, Samuel and Caleb. Huck, how did you cast these individuals? So it was a acting. We just had 2 actors in the film, correct?
Yeah, we only had 2, and the way I sort of saw it, I wrote this around to, and like I wrote this and had the idea, and I placed in my head, I was like, this would be a perfect role for this person, or I envisioned people that I knew in that role. So I really I like Sam. Sam was an initial, and then like for the boy, I like that's where my mind went. And then for Caleb, like I envisioned like him. I feel like I haven't seen him act as much as I wanted to. So for this role, I was really like skeptical, but he did an amazing. I think he did an amazing job. And so I was like, while I was writing, I was like, Caleb can do this, and yeah, he did. And I love you, Caleb.
Thank you.
So it was important, especially their acting ability, because basically there was no dialogue, right?
Yeah, I looked at like UILs in the past, and one thing that always I didn't really like was the dialogue, and I didn't at the time. I was like, I am not good at writing dialogue, and I'm still sort of like iffy on dialogue and writing it. So for this one, I tried to focus on not doing any dialogue at all, sort of having the actions speak for themselves. And I don't know. I think it did. I think it went pretty well. Being able to tell a story without any dialogue.
Yeah, so it was really story driven, based on their acting abilities too, their facial expressions, their show of emotion, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll start with Samuel. So tell us about your experience. How did you first hear about this opportunity, about being in the film, and how was your overall experience?
I think I first heard about it from either Huck or Sabrina. It was one of the two who came to me and was like, we're making a UIL film and we want you to be a part of it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then a couple months later, they were like, all right, we're gonna do like a little rehearsal day. And I was like, all right, cool. And then we filmed it. And it was an interesting role for me personally, because there was, as you were saying, none of that dialogue. And so a lot of it was like a lot of mental energy and trying to put myself into the mental space of that character without being able to, use any words, and just with physicality and with facial expressions and that sort of thing. So it was a really interesting acting experience all around, and I really enjoyed working on it because it was my first time ever working on like a film set kind of thing. So it was really cool for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you actually have to try out for the part, or how did you first kind of work things out in front of these tough critics, Huck and Sabrina?
Huck, I know Huck really wanted me in the movie. He told me this very outright. And so there wasn't really an audition. Me, Huck, and Sabrina have all worked on like theater stuff in the past, so they were pretty familiar with my acting ability. So there wasn't really any tryouts. It was just I was kind of given the role and I went with it, and it was fun.
Making sure it was right for you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Caleb, how about you? How were you sought after, and what was your overall experience?
So Huck came up to me in band one day, and he asked me, he asked me to be a part of it, and I was like, yeah, it was cool. I didn't have a lot of stuff that I was doing recently, and like he said, he told me, like he told Sam he wanted him. He told me he was skeptical at first, which it sort of drove me to try and do the best I could. And I moved to town like a year ago. So yeah, they haven't seen a lot of me like the rest, but I've done a lot of acting most of my life. Me and Huck did another play together at a local theater, and I think that's just why he had me in mind as an option. And I'm glad I got to do it because it was one of the first times I was asked to be able to cry on cue. And there's a couple scenes where I got it out, and I think it was a good experience for me. It really helped, and now I can cry on cue. Like, so.
What was that stuff that you used too to help?
Oh yeah, so
Get the tears out.
there was some essential oils that I can't remember which one it was, but it was some kind of mint that I would put under my eye like that to try and get like that the watery eye, and then sometimes tears would come out. Sometimes I put a little too much and it burned, but that's okay.
Dedication, definitely dedication to the craft right there is impressive. Well, I remember we were on set and I was like, what is that? And I was like, because I could smell it, like it was strong. It was impressed. I was impressed. I was like, because I've never seen an actor do that before.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Yeah.
And
so
Caleb, when there's a scene that you were having to lay down in some brush or bushes.
Oh yeah, that was one of the days that I think we went back and got a shot. That was one where there was the gazebo, which I was supposed to be buried under or next to. I'm guessing the character drug me over there and put me there, my lifeless body. So I just kind of had to wiggle into the bushes and pretend to be dead, and that was that. Yeah.
In the location, how did you choose the particular location for the film to be shot?
My grandma lives there, and
it was free.
Visit my grandma a lot, and a part of it, another where the idea of a lot of ideas came from. Grandma was a huge inspiration. I always tell her, I have an idea of this and stuff, and yeah, there's a walking trail, and that's what we used to film a lot of it. And we also used her apartment, which she was really glad to lend us. And I was really thankful for her to lend us that because, she's like the best grandma ever or something. She's like better than every other grandma. But yeah, that's where my grandma lives, and I just I take walks like sometimes around. And that day I just had an idea, and that's why I was like, I want to film here.
And I think I told you when I saw the first footage of the film, I go, that looks familiar. Then you told me where it was, and I go, when I first moved to Galveston, I lived in that apartment complex, so I knew it looked familiar. So yeah, that's a nice complex, and it has that kind of walking trail over there in the back. So production-wise, that day, it didn't look like, and I was looking for these type of things, just kind of with a critical eye. Whenever you all said it was finished, for continuity issues, didn't look like you had any problems with people walking by or kind of interrupting you. Did you all have any problems with that?
There was kind of
There
You get
was
any
one
strange
scene.
looks by people? What are y'all doing?
there was
One
one
guy. There's
yeah.
one guy where when we were about to start filming a scene, like someone in the middle, just like to in the sequence of walking in those scenes where he was walking, and the guy was just out there smoking a cigarette, and we were just all like kind of waiting. We didn't know what to do. We can't tell him to get off his own porch, but we also had to film. But I think that was one of the only times we had to encounter, and he was still like, what are these kids doing
Right.
with the camera at my house? We didn't know what to do. We couldn't tell him to get away. But I think that was one of the only times we had any problems with other people.
I didn't get the opportunity to do it, but whenever we're on set, like whenever I'm on a big film set, or whenever I'm on any film set, if like, especially with music videos, people always drive by and stuff, and they'll be like, "What are y'all shooting?" And my favorite thing to say is a mustard commercial.
Yeah, mustard commercial, yeah.
But I didn't get the chance to do it on this one, sadly.
I know one of my favorite scenes in the film was the chase scene, running in the driveway.
yeah.
And a couple of judges commented on that they liked that. Were y'all, how many takes did that take to do that? Was it 1, 2?
I think it was 4.
I think it was 4. Yeah.
Me and Sam were pretty exhausted. after
Yeah.
that.
I think the best take that we got of that was the one where our boom operator just ran alongside the actors, like the camera couldn't see him. It was great. We were like, "What are you doing?" It was quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do a good chase scene, everything just has to be absolutely perfect. And the little saying cut, or a car drives by or whatever. And I know, because I was thinking, did you all have any problems with like, a fire truck going by, but you had sound effects and music and stuff. So I guess that really didn't matter, right? The natural sound around, you could just kill that right in the movie. And
Definitely.
And I know that you had compliments from the judges about the underscore, the music, that type of thing. Who was responsible for that?
It was, so I had the like idea of the music, and most of it I wanted it to be like chaotic. So, and kind of like the Tool song that inspired it. But like it had a lot of drums in it, and
Right.
some gradually building drums. And I play drums, so like I just recorded my drum set for like it wasn't any like chaotic stuff, but like I relied on Dalton, who plays guitar, to make most of the other sounds, and then our friend Nick Galvez, and he's like a master with I don't know what like software he used or something, but he was able like to mix it all together. So me and Dalton were playing the instruments, and my friend Nick was just mixing all together, putting distortion on it, getting it, just how I wanted it, and that's how sort of we got the music.
So our viewers can really hear with you guys talking. Everything had to be created by you guys. So I know in the rules, like if you use music or sound from another source, you have to like get the written permission. So otherwise, you need to create it on your own, which is probably easier in the long run. So that way you can get what you want and don't have to run into rights issues or that type copyright infringement or what have you. So, but I know you guys did an excellent job in the music, and it was recognized in several of the judges' comments. I guess going from the actors back to the production team, looking forward to next year and future years, what's your biggest piece of advice that you can give to other young filmmakers who want to do something like this? I mean, you can have the idea, but it's not that easy to do.
Yeah.
It would be to recognize everyone's strengths. I think this production was really lucky that every role everyone had, they were really good at it. And so Malu was a master at his craft, and Huck had thought of every single detail of how he wanted it to look like. And our two actors are amazingly talented. And I'm really good at getting all those details together and producing something. And to any young filmmakers, it's look at what your strengths are and don't be afraid to actually value yourself. And if you know you're good at something, take that and run with it and find people who will support you. Find some body that, like, with their help or even by yourself, you can make something happen. But you probably have the strengths, you probably have the will. Just do it, and people will somehow follow along. Me and Huck and Malu did not know each other before like the third week of school, and then we made our UIL film. And we just had trust that he knew what he was doing, and he did. And he had faith that we were getting all the pre-production done, and we did. But that's really the biggest advice, is look at your strengths in the pre-production. Most important part is trying to get all those details done. But it comes with like what type of organizational skills you have, time management, scheduling, what your true talents are. Is it the actual filming process, or is it the planning, the paperwork type of thing? That's really it.
In other words, keep the drama on the screen and not behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can minimize the drama. Yeah, and I have to say, with you guys, everyone had their own specific role. So, and you guys seemed mature enough and team players enough. If there was an issue, you would always work it out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So, Huck, how satisfying is it now looking back, taking your idea and seeing what happened to it?
It is so awesome. It is like super cool. Like, like I was in it from the start. I really just wanted to get my idea down. I wanted to see if I was able to make this product. Hi, Mom. I'm on a Zoom. For,
It wouldn't be a Zoom session unless we're interrupted, right? Or barking dog.
It's being recorded.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, so
Tell her she's
Premiere.
gonna be on TV later. So yeah.
yeah.
Oh, channel 17.
Yeah.
But what was the question again?
Yeah. How satisfying is it to look back and see?
Oh, yeah. It was really satisfying to see like idea I had really like play out. And it was really satisfying to like find people who could really make like honestly a dream come true. Like I was like going to sleep thinking about this and seeing how it would look, and just having like the perfect people and able to make that, you know, like two amazing actors, an amazing person who always like follow me all the way and that like would always hear my ideas, and then amazing like a director of photography, you know, and like I don't know, it was an amazing feeling just to see like the finished product and be like questioning. It's like, did I make, or did we make that, you know, was that my idea? And it's just so cool and so unique, and just the feeling you get. It's like when you finish, I don't know, a TV show, a really good TV show. It's just like the big finale, and like it's the experience you get at the very end. And that's what I felt when I completed, or when we completed the film, you know. But
So I think the lesson learned is put a good team together. Trust each team player, each member as part of the team, that they're going to get the job done, and good things should happen, right?
definitely.
But be professional enough. If something goes wrong or someone needs to be excused from the group, you know, be professional enough. Like, well, I don't think this is working or whatever. But I don't think you guys didn't have that problem. But it's probably a lesson learned for the future. And Malik can probably test it because he's been part of so many crew. If there's a fly in the ointment somewhere, that fly needs to go fly off somewhere else, right?
Mhm.
And not poison the
But
team.
they need to do it announced, because one year we had a problem with, can I say it? The director just didn't show up to set a few times.
Right. A lot of drama. So yeah.
Yeah. that was fun when your director doesn't show up, because they're, you know, kind of the most important piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. So, but yeah,
That was
but lessons learned. You guys have set the new standard, the new template to follow. So, you know, moving forward, if students in the future don't step into these big shoes correctly and they don't fit, and then we got to do something different, right? So, so last thing from our actors, this was overall how did this experience exceed all your expectations?
Caleb, do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot more professional than I thought it might be. I had a lot of fun. I made some relationships that I want, and I really want to move past this whole production. And I think that those relationships really helped in the production too. Me and Sam, we've had a journey in our friendship, and I think our coming into the set, we weren't that close with each other, and then once we started acting together, we became a lot closer. There were a lot of nights where we would spend talking, and I think that really shined in the way we decided to act with each other.
Becoming brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that me and Caleb, we knew each other, but we didn't really talk. And then the first day that we were really working on the film, he texted me afterwards, and we ended up just having a very long conversation, and it really sprouted from this film, and that was really cool. We watched the film together when it released. We got to see it together for the first time, and so that was a really cool experience for, I feel like, the both of us.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, in just a second, we're getting ready to officially blast out and premiere to the community. We haven't done this, even though we entered it in the competition. It's been over for a while. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I thought, well, we need to do this in the right way. So let's get together, kind of a reunion type show in a Zoom session. Then we'll officially premiere it and blast it out on social media. And then here within the district, we're lucky enough to have our own TV station. So how cool is it to know that your film is actually on traditional TV? So that's pretty cool too. So for the community, yeah. Huckhead is expanding, right? Caleb, are you a junior or a senior?
I am actually a freshman.
A freshman. Oh,
yeah.
All right. So Huck, be thinking about role for him, maybe, right? Again, if you need someone you need someone to cry, that can be him, right? So.
I went homeschooled recently, but yeah.
So. You can still be recruited. So.
Really? Oh, that'll be fun then. Yeah. That's happy.
Yeah. And Samuel, what about you?
I'm a junior currently.
Junior. Oh, okay. So maybe the Return of the Brothers or something. Burden 2, right?
this time I'm Sam.
Yeah.
Pre-burden or something, right there. or pre-burden, right? The prelude to it, right?
Yeah.
Go back and delve into the relationship before all the havoc started in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, guys, great job. Pat yourselves on the back. Like I said, you guys set a new standard, which we're all very proud of. I just knew going in that this is great, and I hoped and prayed, but I just knew deep down, I go, there's no way that we're not going to place at least in the first round, which we did. And like I said, in the second round, we came awfully close, and the comments from the judges in both rounds were very good. So you guys should be proud and ready to build on something new for next year. And I know the wheels are probably already turning in Huck's head for a script for next year. And then I know this has inspired you guys to do a documentary next year, which I'm excited about that idea. So I think great things are coming. Any other parting comments before we transition into the premiere of the film?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
No.
All right. So Thanks, guys, for participating. And all right, we're ready for the premiere for everyone to see. Burden.